Three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
Gentlemen, we're out of order. Let's fix this here.
We're like the NFL. We're like the NFL. We're all over the place.
The witching hour of the O-Line Committee here. So we're going to get into a million things that happened here. We'll get to our mics. I saw Jay begging for people's waiters recommendations on Twitter. I woke up and I was like, what is happening on his Twitter account right now? Did you get hacked?
Nope. So I went duck hunting this morning. Deer season's over. So I went duck hunting this morning because it was a good, nice, stiff north wind. I'm out there throwing decoys, right? It's dark, and all of a sudden I'm like, my right foot's wet. My right foot is definitely getting wetter by the second, and I found out the hard way. I have a hole in the right foot of my waders, and so it feels like 9 degrees outside, and I'm out there throwing decoys as my right foot's just filling up with water, and then I just sat in a soggy right foot. So it's time for – I texted the wife, and I was like, I think I need some new waders for Christmas. She's like, oh, okay. I was like, but I can't wait till Christmas. So I think there's going to be
Black Friday specials.
Black Friday. I've already been looking. What's the Black Friday specials? I got Bandit. If you're listening, I'd love a sponsorship. Bandit, Tidewee, Sitka, you name it. I'll go out and get it.
Are we talking like frostbite, or what's our foot situation?
It's fine. I mean, it wasn't. Once I got in the blind and everything, and I could empty a boot out, it was fine. So I just had a soggy right foot, and then the waders keep the body heat in there, so it's soggy. It was a soggy right foot, but we shot ducks and geese, so it was worth it.
Wow, dude, what a morning for you!
I need to get Alex out there. I would love to see Alex trudging through a waist deep pond at 5 a.m.
Me and nature is one of the greatest things ever. It's my favorite place.
I'm sure.
It's my favorite place. Well, I go through the creek all the time with the kids.
Yeah,
I love it.
Alex, do you hunt? Do you fish?
No, I just go shooting. I'll go skeet shooting.
I'll
go fishing.
It's more fun to shoot something that's alive.
I could easily do that. I just don't have time.
I mean, I'll sit there and like eat pistachios while you guys, go fish, hunt, whatever.
We'd have to get you a box for our blind. We built it for tall people, so you wouldn't be able to see over the front of it.
another one of those things where I was cut out of the birth canal, unfortunately.
Yep. Lost at birth.
So, the NFL pretty wild yesterday. Who wants the first mic? Who wants the first shot?
I do. I do.
All right, I want the second mic then.
To continue with my rant on kickers and special teams.
Oh, God, here it goes.
The Washington Commanders fall to the Dallas freaking Cowboys with Cooper Rush out there. And listen, I have Terry McLaurin on my fantasy. And so all game, I'm like, oh, my gosh, you're doing nothing. Throw 17 the football. Yes. Throw him the football. Dallas drops 10. They drop 10 guys with 20-some seconds left in the game, and somehow Terry McLaurin goes for 86 yards. Mike Zimmer's eyes had to be popping out of his head again. And he goes and he scores, and they're all celebrating, and I can't remember who the announcer was. But the announcer goes, you just got to make this extra point. And I was like, wait, what? And apparently,
how would you say it like that?
Like what? And then, dude, bad snap, botch snap. Kicker wide left misses first extra point he's missed
Blair Walsh's
all year long, and you just see him looking there, and the whole sideline is like, ugh. So what do? Let's onside kick it. House call.
Dude, that was one of the greatest. Dude, Turpin.
It was unbelievable.
Turpin and the rest of the Dallas special teams. Did you see the little spin he did?
Dude,
did you see
the
dude? And when they slowed it down in front of him, you could see him like checking, and he's like, "Where's my lane? Oh, it's over here, but I'm gonna fake this way." And he spun back, and I was like, I am so impressed right now. That's fucking amazing. It was
he muffed it too, right? Dude, like it was on the ground.
Did you think though that this was going to happen twice in 1 year? Did you think they were going to come back on this 90-yard throw, the Hail Mary, the Terry McLaurin? Of course the kicker's going to fuck it up, dude. They're kickers. That's their job. God, they don't even look confident anymore. And we started this season, and everybody was like, man, kickers are hitting from 60, and they're doing great. And even I think at one point, I think it was Jay Feely, was like, congratulations to him, 12 of 12 or something. The next one, he missed it. And I was like,
well, Brendan Aubrey was not all
that's
there.
My whole point.
He's the guy,
it's just
right?
a mess right now. But, dude, I think, more importantly, Dallas coming out and beating Washington. I know everyone's kind of like, it is what it is. It's like, I know, but that's going to hurt them later.
I agree.
I don't even care about Dallas.
This is definitely not like, Dallas might be.
That's what you didn't realize was when you start to turn back in December, you're going to go, hey, remember that game? We should have made that kick. It's the reason we're not making the fucking playoffs.
Well, you're saying it's going to hurt Washington later.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
also
yeah.
going to hurt. It's also going to hurt Dallas later
In
when
the
they
draft
have
order.
the 7th overall pick instead of the 2nd overall pick.
But I mean, I
gonna hurt both
feel
of them.
like Jaden Daniels has not been the same since that rib injury, right? Like ever since that rib injury, I don't know it. I don't know if he's not seeing the field more, if things got sped up, or if teams have just started kind of figuring him out a little bit and what's going on. But he just has not looked the same. I mean, towards the end of that game, there was 3 consecutive plays where he
Ran out of bounds?
rolled out to the right, and just ran out of bounds.
I just wanted
was
to
like-
talk. Oh,
I was
listen.
like, dude, give someone a chance.
I
Like,
wanted to talk about that. What the fuck was
he just
doing?
ran out of bounds. Took a
All
sack.
3, the same.
All 3 were
He
sacks.
didn't even try to throw it. I was like, dude, throw the fucking ball out of bounds. That's a sack. That goes. Oh, because you know what happens is on Monday.
Goes in the stat sheet.
All of a
Gave
sudden,
up
coach,
7 sacks.
The fuck is this? We never give. And you're like, but these 3 plays in a row. But here's where I'm thinking. It's not. I think it's just more frustrated. Like it looked like as soon as he took the snap, he was like, we are way too overloaded here. I'm just gonna roll this way. But you're right. He didn't look up. He wasn't like, I'm gonna threaten someone. I'm gonna do something. And it was like, did Dallas just come in and kick you around a little bit in your own house? This is a little weird for me. But that game is gonna hurt them.
Well,
in a
I
big
think
way.
I think a little bit too is people are playing them like they did the Chiefs in like 2021, right? Where that offense the first part of the year was just high flying, letting it rip, pushing it down the field, and now they're like, okay, let's just play this 2 deep coverage, keep everything in front of us, and make the young quarterback process, right? Get through your reads, okay. 2 deep safeties covering McLaurin. Okay, who are we going to take away? I'm not really worried about Dotson. Brian Robinson's not out, so we're not really concerned about the run game. They just look like they cannot find a rhythm going into December, and we talk about it all the time. December is when teams start to skyrocket and really hit stride. I think the Commanders, unfortunately, a little bit on the downhill skid.
To your
Well,
point
not
about
even the
Commanders,
downhill skid, but even if you just start to skid a little bit with the teams that you're playing as, like you look at Philly, and we'll talk about them later, right? There's teams that are jumping out of nowhere that you're like, there's no way you're going to be able to outshine them. Like, they look too good to you now. And I agree. In the beginning of the year, people were like, what the fuck is this? And now everyone's like, let's just take a reset, pull everybody back, see what he really wants to do. And now all of a sudden you're like, now you really got to start dicing people up.
the NFL and just the whole structure of the league and media, idiots like me and us on microphones, we love to make definitive judgments about teams after like October, first week in November. And there's always 1 or 2 teams that are just gangbusters to start the season. 4-2, or I mean the Bears were 4-2. And the Commanders are kind of finding out here. So they're 7-5. The division's gone. Like they're 3 games back of Philly now. That division was theirs a month ago. It's gone now.
Gone.
And they are sitting here. They are a half game up on the Cardinals for the final wild card spot. And they're only a game up on the Buccaneers, the Rams, and the 49ers. So it's like they went from literally being, are they the 2 seed in the NFC 3 weeks ago to, can they hold
Are
off?
they going to make it?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I
know.
think we planted the flag there too, and was like, hey, that division runs through Washington, and Eagles said, hold my beer.
To be fair,
And
to be fair.
through there, but to be fair, that's what's great about the NFL, dude.
Yes.
That's what's so great about the NFL is really September and October. Teams are just finding out, like, what do we actually have? Right? Like, what actually are we? Our rosters was turned over 30% last year. We've got new rookies in that are going to take some growing time. Like, if we can just get ourselves in position to make a run at the division going into December or like November, we'll be okay. And then without fail, November ends and you're looking at the top of the leaderboards of the NFL and you're going, well, there's the familiar faces. There's the Bills. There's the Chiefs. There's the Ravens. Like all these teams that people are like, what's happening to them early on? They're right there again, right? The great ones know how to weather the storms, adapt and die. The great coaches know how to coach through these slumps and then hit stride at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Okay, new mic, Booney, new mic.
All right, listen. I'm not saying that he did or he didn't, but this guy may have gotten his head coach fired when he was in the locker room after the game going, same result, different quarterback. Who's the problem? Dude, the minute I heard that, I go, I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Malik Neighbors, man.
Dude, and he's chewing his gum, right? And he's got his New York glasses on. And
Fucking receivers.
I'm sitting here dying, going, this diva just got his head coach fired. And they go, somebody's just like, Brian, you ask it. All of a sudden you hear this guy go, well, then whose fault is it? He goes like this. I don't know. Y'all tell me. like he thought about it and he was about to say it. His agent had to be somewhere like, shut the fuck up right now. Dude, I'm sorry. That team has given up. And I'm not even saying like Tampa's a good team, but there was times in that game the ball spits out, not one fucking person notices except for Baker, and he's just like, he could have picked it up and walked in. Like the effort's not there, the shit's not there. Tommy DeVito's getting fucking murdered back there. They're making fun of him doing his own thing, and that had me fucking rolling. No, I'm sorry, I only had like
Baker
30 minutes.
Aggressive. It wasn't even just like a quick flash.
No, it was
like,
heavy, extra parm, extra parm.
The best
baby.
was like Ottman. I think it was Ottman comes over and he's like, "Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of this." I was like, "Dude, they're just." It looked like a Wednesday practice against the scout team. Like, hey, listen, you give us a 4-3, and we're just gonna run a bunch of shit. Okay, yeah, don't blitz us either. No, you're good.
It was. They just didn't look like they cared, and I hate saying that because I know there's a lot of guys on that team that do care.
They do,
right? And there's a lot of professionals on that team that do care. But the problem is, if you're uninspired and you're not out there playing with your hair on fire, you have no shot in this league. No shot. Especially against Tampa, who might be one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now as far as just feeling themselves and doing things well. But I agree with you, Booney. It's tough to watch. It's tough to see because there's a lot of talent on that football team.
There is.
I mean, you talk
which is
about
crazy.
The front of that New York front with Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, right? And I mean, you go and you're looking, and it's kind of the younger guys like Deonte Banks. I don't like calling guys out, but like Deonte Banks is a first rounder last year, and he got benched, right? Like those are the kind of things that are really tough to watch. And you know, it's one of those things where when there's distractions, and we've talked about this before. But distractions in the NFL are almost impossible to overcome and win with, right? And when you talk about the ultimate distraction this week, you bench your starting quarterback coming out of a bye. Then you have sources and random players sending out texts and tweets to the media affiliates that are saying, like, this wasn't handled properly. I can't believe you do this. Anonymous source on the New York Giants.
Yeah.
Right? That type of stuff. Then you're answering questions during the week. Drew Lock's pouting, right? It's just so much distraction that you weren't focused on the game. And if you have enough distractions and you're already a struggling football team and then you go out there and perform like this, it's just going to keep adding distractions, right? And then Malik Neighbors has his interview and his thing. So now guess what Brian Daboll's going to have to answer in front of the podium today, right? It's not going to be about X's and O's in football. It's going to turn into the Real Housewives of the New York Giants, and it's going to be like a drama-filled thing. That's going to be really hard for them to overcome and win with already a little bit of a lack of talent of a winning football team. Anytime you have that happening, man, going into December, right? Like there's a lot of football still to be played. Like it's not like, 2 games left in January. Everyone knows he's dead man walking and the whole bit there. There's still a lot of football left to be played in this season.
Yeah, and they've practically given up. And I think the problem is that this got handled badly the minute that it got reported that he was playing safety on the scout team. I think people were like, wait a minute, what's going on? Why is this dude who's about to get paid a shit ton of money if he gets hurt backpedaling in a position he's never done? Like, I just want everyone to know that at times it's not uncommon to play silly positions. Like we fought to play the middle linebacker all the time. Like people would instantly
but
know
not
what
your $40 million quarterback.
No.
That's the thing. Yeah,
I agree.
How do you feel about that?
Listen, it's walkthrough. I'm not really giving a shit because the minute they were like, "Hey, give me a scout team defense," I was running to be the Mike. I was like, "I want to be the Mike so bad." Oh my god, because you got to call the defense and be like, "Yo, code left, it's a run here," and they'd be like, "You're a dick, Boone."
Oh, that was the best when you'd be the scout team defensive like Mike, and you'd hear them have the play call, and you'd start
Peter.
You'd start cheating the angle in the center.
It's a power here.
Like, you asshole. Be like, you better get a little bit of a little hip in that walkthrough here, bud. Little hopper. I'm plugging the A gap. I'm plugging the A gap.
But Daniel Jones was clearly put off by
I
it,
know how it
leak
looks.
out, right?
It doesn't look that bad to me, but what happens was that story blows up. And now all of a sudden you're dealing with a distraction. And the team doesn't want to deal with it, but they have to keep answering these questions. And I honestly think that maybe releasing him may have not have been the best idea because now all of a sudden that's another huge question that the team is going to have to answer for the next couple of weeks because they're going to be like, so, Tommy DeVito, you guys want DJ, you got rid of DJ. Like, it's just going to keep going around and around. And not only that, but how about Daniel Jones right now just being kind of like, Vegas, what's up? You need something? Niners, you need You need something? What do you need? Like, there's all of a sudden these opportunities have opened up for him where people are like, is he really going to just be able to walk out of there and go somewhere else and just be like, yeah, nothing ever happened? Like, it's just the whole thing is just.
Dallas has the funniest opportunity of all time right now. To sign Daniel Jones and start him against the Giants on Thanksgiving.
It would be wild.
It would be the greatest Jerry Jones moment of all time to be like, hey, we played the Giants on Thanksgiving. We're struggling. They're struggling. Daniel, why don't you come sign to our practice squad, right? Sign to our practice squad. We'll elevate you on game day and sell them down the river, right? Sell them down the farm. I mean, tell us everything because there's no love there for Daniel.
Oh, no.
Daniel's not going to be like, oh, I can't do that to my boys, right? That would be an unbelievable move. But I honestly think Daniel Jones is going to be a San Francisco 49er by the time the week is done.
I kind of think so, too. Now, listen, now that you've said that, Jerry's crazy.
Jerry's nuts.
Jerry could easily be like, listen, just come in here. I'll give you one game.
Because I think you can put him on practice squad and elevate him 3 times, right? You don't have to sign him to active roster right away. You can just sign a guy to practice squad now. He can be 50 years old. Jason Peters, I think, was on Seattle's practice squad this year. He's like 41, right? You can just sign him to practice squad. He's going to sign to someone's practice squad probably by the time we're done recording this podcast or maybe tomorrow. And then he's going to end up starting a game in the National Football League before this year is done. I almost guarantee it.
Jerry, do it. I will. I'll come back.
Last thing before we move off of this mic.
Do you guys agree though? Do you think he got him? You think he got him fired? That comment?
I don't think he got him fired. I think that the release of Daniel Jones is the step of the true we are moving away, no questions. Like Daboll probably has one more year because he's going to get to draft his quarterback. Right, because Daboll's pounding the table of I never got to get my guy, right? So that's probably gonna be Daboll. But do you think that Brian Daboll and Joe Sheen watch Philadelphia Eagles games, like on TV?
Oh.
Like, do you think last night they queued up Sunday Night Football and they sat there and watched 26 run up and down the field and listened to Chris Collinsworth talk about how do you let this guy walk out of your building
in 5 yards?
Dude, I don't know how. I mean, and then they're probably watching it. They get a phone call from Mora, and they're like, "I'm not answering that."
$50 says they don't watch it. I guarantee you they don't watch
that Sunday night game, and that's actually my next mic was going to be Saquon.
How could
Go
it
for
not?
it?
Dude.
300 yards from scrimmage, an Eagles single game record of 255 yards. So he's already set a personal season high in rushing yards with six games to go
left.
So he's just a tick under 1,400 yards. I think he should be the MVP right now if voting took place.
There's no question. He'll win it.
I feel pretty safe about my stake in a beer bet for Saquon being the best running back in the NFL at the start of the season.
You said he'd be the highest scoring fantasy running back. I think
that's a fairly safe bet.
Didn't I go with you on that?
It's fairly safe
I'm almost positive I was with you on that.
I took Saquon.
You both went together on that.
Yeah, Saquon and...
You took the field. You took the field there, Mackey.
Mackey, you got destroyed.
All I can think about is what could Saquon have been if he would have been on a good team his entire career.
Oh.
Yeah, well, dude, his rookie year, he had like 90 catches in addition to the 1,300 yards.
You put him behind the Eagles' offensive line since he was a rookie in the NFL, we're talking about maybe one of the greatest of all time.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Right? One of the we talk about Derrick Henry hitting the 10,000-yard rushing record. Can Saquon hit it? It's going to be close. I mean, if he continues playing at this pace,
I don't know,
maybe. But it's just unbelievable to watch how one guy can change that entire offense. Because Swift wasn't a bad back, right? Swift was a solid back. But you input Saquon into where Swift was.
Saquon's also, by all accounts, just like a leader and a locker room pillar.
I was going to say, have you seen the stuff coming out about him, about what a great dude he is and like how he used to just chill in the back?
Well, I mean, John Michael told me that last year. He's like, dude, Saquon, like my center for the Giants, he's like, dude, Saquon's an unbelievable guy. Right, like he's not a drama guy.
I fucking love that.
He's not a flashy rah like crazy in the media. Like he is a professional, right? And when you have the combination of elite skill set and professional,
humble,
woo!
Did you see the video of him and Sirianni when Sirianni's like, "Listen, you're 13 yards away from your career high," and he's like, "I'm good." Let the other
I think
ones
he
get
knew
it.
he was going to eventually break that
I
at
think
one point this
at the
season.
same time, like that right there is an answer that would allow you into the offensive line room at any moment of your life.
Well,
like,
or how about when when it's first and goal on the inch yard line and he's screaming for the tush push, right? Like he's not like, "Hey, I need my touchdowns, right? I need this. He's like, hey, let's just get this thing in the end zone.
And hey, since we're talking about him, this is kind of where we remember, like maybe a month ago, we were like, oh, they're going to implode, right? Like at times it was like Saquon was the only thing working. This is a completely different Eagles team than we've seen last year at this time. Like last year at this time, they were going this way. Now they're going back up this way because their defensive line is wreaking fucking havoc, and their running back is just blazing through people. And oh, by the way, AJ Brown's on the outside, Devontae Smith. Like there's so many people you forget about.
He's hurt. Like, Devontae's hurt right now.
But that's what you don't even think, because you're like, well, Saquon had 300 yards. The whole Rams had 290. Like this one dude just beat this whole fucking team.
But
again,
I think that goes back. That goes back to. And I'm not saying this because I don't know anyone on that team. Like, what was the veteran leadership like last year versus how does bringing a guy like Saquon in change the whole dynamic of what the last 6 games of the year were for them last year?
It's a great point.
Right? Kelsey's gone. You lose that pillar. Right? You have some of the guys that were around last year that could fall into the, oh my gosh, here we go again. And then you bring in professional, consummate pro Saquon Barkley. He's like, no, we're good. I can handle all this, right? Like, put it on me. I'll lead us through whatever slump we're in, and then everyone just rallies behind that guy and goes. You can't overstate what Saquon means to that team, not just from a on-field performance, but from a locker room performance as well. I think so many of the younger guys have tagged to him. Even some of the other veteran guys have tagged to him. He is the heartbeat of the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
There's no question.
Something else to note too, that we talk about the Commanders' stock has fallen a ton the last month. I don't think there's a coach in the NFL whose stock has risen more in the last month, from probably getting fired midseason to, okay, Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
For sure.
Nick Sirianni.
There's
they
no
were
question.
literally, people were talking about
booing him
ago.
in his own stadium.
And he was trying to fight him.
He was trying to flip him the birds in Philly. The Philly fans.
They've come a long way in a month, have they not? Like at one point he was like, wait a minute, we're going for it. Wait, what? Now he's out there just acting like, yeah, I know what's going on. All right, listen, you're 13 yards away. Would you? And he sounded
that thing where he
super
accepted the
professional,
penalty
too.
was bullshit. I'm with
where they declined
I'm with
it?
Collinsworth.
Where they declined it and then he came back. Well, no. Did you hear what happened? He said that he thinks it was because you and I have been out there where they've automatically thought we're going to decline it. Like they're like, oh, this is a holding.
No, I don't think that happened.
I guarantee
I think Sirianni went, no, I'm good. Make him. It's 4th down.
Saw the
and then he
offense
saw
out
them and
there.
he's like, no. I said, take it. Right.
Push him back.
Push him back. Push him
Hey,
back.
I love it. Get away with it. But listen, one of the things to go back to Jay's point about the leadership is one of the greatest things about this is when you are one of the best players right now in the NFL, like right now, number 1 player in the NFL, and you were the most humble, everybody on that whole team has to follow your lead. Like nobody can outshine you. Nobody can step above you. The minute somebody gets out of control, everyone's going to be like, dude,
shut up.
Shut up. Saquon doesn't say shit.
26
like that.
didn't do that. You don't get to do that.
This dude jumped over someone fucking backwards and did a backflip. And by the way, he didn't have to grab his balls to show how tough he was. Like he just did it. Like that's how cool he is. Like he made.
Then he handed the ball to a child.
Right?
Like that's what
Signed.
he did.
Signed somehow.
He moved people out of the way. That was the best. You see how he scored? He's like move, and just like stuffed it in a child's like right in his stomach.
Love that. Great dude. Great dude.
Also,
great team.
can we talk about how easy he was repping 585 pounds on that squat bar? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Like they did Jalen Hurts, right? And he's like, stands up real quick. They cut to Saquon Barkley box squatting 585 for reps like it was 225.
His legs
Unbelievable.
so
dude.
fucking big. I just
What
want
was
to
the
touch
video
him.
like? Was it the combine or was it his training camp with the Giants? There was a viral photo of him. I think it was in the Giants.
Was it the
spandex
legs ones? Yeah,
training camp.
I've seen
Like,
those.
What are those watermelons?
Dude,
like, what is happening with your?
I mean,
thigh?
at his age, with an ACL, with all the wear and tear that he has,
Dude's fine.
I would love to know the amount of money he puts into his body per year. Right, like there was that year Russell Wilson came out. It's like, I put $1 million into my body.
Over $1 million.
Saquon's got to be close to that.
Over
like
$1 million.
to recover and do what he does. And I know this sounds like a Saquon blow session, but my gosh, the dude is incredible.
Dude,
absolutely.
Well, there'll be
incredible.
another one on the
Between-
feed this week when
hey,
we do a film breakdown of his
You have to.
55
You
yards.
have
So,
to.
Of course we're going to. I think another person you talk about when you talk about spending money in the offseason is Derrick Henry. How much money is that? Those two dudes, like to be able to be running as hard as they are, as long as they are, and just make it look easy, you're like, they spend a lot of money. Because I know what the body feels like in the offseason. You're going to have to spend a lot of money to make it feel good. It's
incredible.
It's incredible. And I love what the Eagles are doing.
Nobody wants to face the Eagles first round of the playoffs.
Dude.
I'll say that right now.
Not
That
a
they may be them and the
They're
Lions.
the 2 seed, right?
Them and the Lions
Yeah.
may be the hardest place. Like if I'm looking wild card spot, I'm like, man, I really don't know. I really don't know how to do
That
this.
game right now, the Lions versus Eagles, would be the second most watched game because of both run games and the fact that the defenses are fucking doing what they're doing. Like, You talk about two of the same going
Right
at
now,
it.
they play tomorrow. Who wins?
Where is it being played?
That's a great
Detroit.
question.
In Detroit. They play
Detroit.
tomorrow. They play
Lions
tomorrow in Detroit. Who wins?
Lions win.
I mean, with Anzalone out, with some of the issues, I might have to. I love the Lions. You know, I'm a Lion.
I know.
It's
I
hard
know.
for me
It's
to
really
watch.
hard.
It's hard for me to watch what that defensive line did to LA last night,
Dude.
and not think that they look like the
Dude.
2017 Super Bowl champions.
Lions have such a great quick game, though. Lions have an elite quick game,
But like,
and the
but you
pre-snap
got to
motions
think
to
like
keep guys.
Stafford's one of the best at getting the ball out and understanding too. Like
It
wasn't like they beat up on Tommy DeVito or whoever that Allen kid was at San Francisco just rolled out there like, hey, you could throw it, right? But I mean,
Poor Trey Lance, man.
the other
Guy gets cut for these back.
But I mean, you
Traded
look
or
like
whatever.
what we talked about Saquon, but we have to talk about the Eagles' defensive front. I mean, what happened?
Jalen
where all of a
Carter.
sudden Jalen Carter, he has flipped a switch.
He's
Brandon
pissed.
Graham out for the year sucks because I mean,
but still, can we just talk about how
you
doing
got
it at
Nakobe
36?
Dean, you've got all these dudes. I mean, it's unbelievable the front that they've been able to build through the draft in Philly. Like all those dudes were homegrown Philly boys, right? It's not like a big premier pass rusher. They went and signed out of the year. They let freaking Haskins or whatever his name was, the guy that refuses to play for the Jets. Who was that?
Oh, Hassan Reddick?
Reddick. They let him walk, right? They traded him. They're like, you're kind of annoying. Go ahead and get out of here. And they didn't miss a beat. They have not missed a beat. It is incredible to watch that front go.
Well, and you got to think about it too. A lot of their success is because they never blitz, right? Vic is one of the. It's big. He's one of the biggest in like, hey, listen, just get me pass rushers, and we can drop everybody, and we can mess with people, and we can do different coverages and different schemes, and we're just gonna rush forward, dude. At times they like he kept Stafford catch ball, poof. You were like, what the fuck is going on out here? Because you're right. He's one of the best at being like, okay, I got trouble over here. I'm going to go right here, right now. And all of a sudden, it's like, I'm just taking sack after sack. Dude, it was rough.
Well, I also remember when we did our O-line rankings, we had the Rams O-line high.
Well, they were also a lot
And
of
they're
injuries,
all, I mean,
too.
but like, yeah,
They're
they've been beat up, but Kevin Dotson's still back out there.
He is. He's
right.
playing.
Havenstein's out there. Steve Avila was back out there. They've got a rookie center, which is best
Don't
of luck.
rule them out from still being the 3 seed in the NFC though, because if
The
they
Rams? Yeah, 'cause they could
they're
easily
a
win
game
their
back
division.
of Seattle.
That whole West
that
is
whole
fucked
division
up.
is within a game. All 4 teams within a game.
It's a mess.
New Mike J.
Oh, new Mike.
If you want, I've got one
Go for
ready
it.
to rock.
Go
right
for
now,
it.
okay?
Another one.
You guys might yell at me for this because it's still too early in the NFL season, but I'm ready to. The 49ers are my mic, and I'm ready to pronounce time of death San Francisco 49ers, 6 p.m. Central Time, November 24th, 2024.
I'm gonna stamp.
I'm
on
gonna
that.
co-sign
I'm sorry.
that. I'm gonna
sorry.
co-sign that.
I'm gonna co-sign that. That's a.
They
looked rough. I mean, here's what looked rough for me: the defense. Like they just didn't look like themselves. Normally they're flying around having fun. At times you see Fred Warner like, yeah, I got it. That's me. Like, I think they're looking at the offensive side going, shit, we don't have Purdy. We got to do a ton. Like, we got to do all this stuff. And it's just causing them to just do too much. And at times, dude, you look at Green Bay, they're making it simple. Like, the way that they've been able to just hand the ball off at times to Josh Jacobs and be like, well, you deal with this. Or just turn around. And one of the cool things was, like, you think about the Packers all year. I think we all picked the Packers too, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we all kind of knew. The fact that they've been winning, even without Jordan Love, like you think about this year, and I guess I wasn't as high on them before, but when they came out and they stomped the Niners this week, I was like, all right, I'm going to give these dudes a little bit more credit than I think I have been. Not to say that it was that hard, because they didn't have Brock Purdy, and their run game hasn't been shit, and it wasn't like the defense was out there flying around. But at the same time, dude, the Packers team is really good, and they have the ability to just throw the ball, run the ball, be creative, do a couple swift spins, like everything about them. You're like, man, I really like them. And I don't know why I'm not so high on them.
I mean,
well, it's because it's Jordan Love is not the same player that he was in the second half last year, which gives you a little.
But Josh
more
Jacobs gives me a little bit more.
Every game this year, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. I mean, did he throw one yesterday?
Actually, was yesterday the
I don't
first
think
game
he threw
didn't.
one yesterday.
I think
yesterday was the first game.
Yesterday was
he
the
didn't
first
throw an
game
interception.
he hasn't thrown an interception all year.
Yeah.
All year long, right? But going back to the Niners, what a waste of that roster.
Oh.
Right? This was the year. Like, this was the final year of before Purdy needs to be extended. You got Brandon Ayuk. You have Kittle. You have Trent Williams. You have Fred Warner. You have Bosa. Christian McCaffrey. They never could put it all together one time the right way, right? You miss Christian McCaffrey for the first half of the year.
Now everybody else is hurt.
We get him back in. Okay, Ayuk's out. right? Okay, Bosa's a little dinged up. All right, now we're going to have some offensive linemen get dinged. Okay, now Brock Purdy's out. Like, one of those years for them where it just never came together. The biggest winner out of all of this for the Niners is Brock Purdy. Because when you put a guy out there and all you said forever is Brock Purdy he's a system guy, he plays within the system, you can put anyone in there and they can operate this system.
You shot yourself in the
all
foot.
That nonsense.
Yep.
You watch what Mr. Allen did out there on Sunday afternoon and you go, maybe Brock is worth $60 million. Right? Maybe he is, right?
I know what you're thinking, Mackey.
It's hard to say he's not when you watch that performance and go, we've been winning with Brock, even with all this other nonsense going on around us. Brock has found a way to get us to win football games, found a way to help us when we haven't been. I'm ready to stamp that Brock Purdy will be the highest paid quarterback at one point in time in the NFL.
I will say this. There's been a lot of people that have said that you could put anybody in there and they would do fine. Now, they are down a lot of injuries. You lose Trent Williams, that's huge. Brandon Ayuk, been out for a long time.
Kittle's missed games here and there.
Right. But when you put somebody out there and they get decimated, and that's the only thing that the coaches can look at compared to Brock Purdy, they're going to be like, fuck, we're going to have to pay this dude now. Fuck. Because everybody said anyone can do it, and this guy just came out here and got trounced, and now it just shows how good he really is. And I agreed with you. Like, at one point in the season, I was like, maybe they'll talk to him about taking a team-friendly deal. And now we've said this before. The only thing worse than no film is bad film. And the minute you put out bad film, the other player goes, I guess I'm not such a system fucking quarterback, am I?
It's an impossible situation for the Niners because Purdy is really, really good. Like, he's one of the 10 to 15 best quarterbacks in the world. But, and maybe he proves me wrong on this, is he a guy that, because this is what's going to happen. You guys, I think you laid it out perfectly. They're going to give him $60 million a year, which is the new going rate. Like, it's kind of black or white. I know Boone was fighting a couple weeks ago for like a middle ground.
I'm going to guess 55 to 60.
55.
But there is no 35 option
or
40.
No, you lost that. The minute Allen went out there and fucked it up, they were like, I'm not even kidding you. Brock Purdy was probably on the sidelines texting his agent like, now it's 40.
Well,
now it's 45.
But
we've hit 50.
It's not just that. It's the other 10 teams in the league that are desperate for a quarterback that would pay him 60. So what's going to happen is they're going to pay him $55 or $60 million, and over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, unless they are perfect in the draft, like perfect, their roster is going to be less than it was during this era. He'll be good enough to get them to like 8, 9, 10 wins, but they're not going to be the Super Bowl caliber team. Jay nailed it. It's less about this year. It's the era. They missed on the era.
They're coming out of it now.
The Super Bowl window is closing, right? Guys are going to leave and go sign mega deals somewhere else. Right, it's unfortunate, but it's going to be a full reset with a high-paid quarterback, which is maybe the hardest thing in the NFL to do.
Yeah, the Rams have kind of been doing it
hard.
Ask the Dallas Cowboys, right? How hard is it now? You're going to have to rebuild a team with very little cap space. You're going to have to hit on guys in the draft and roll the dice and hope it goes from there.
Ask the Giants. Dude, they lost one of the best players in the NFL because they were paying a quarterback. And they even said it. We're going to pay this guy $12 million when we're paying this guy $40. Well, the two sound less than Dak's making, so I would pay that for 2 bodies. Yes, I would. I would definitely do that.
Yeah, I mean, on the Giants front too, I think so. Average annual value, Daniel Jones $40 million. They also gave $5 million for 1 year to Drew Lock.
Yep.
To not be the next guy up either. So like $45 million to like.
You know who's winning in all this? Drew is just sitting back. Like, did that check clear? All right, fuck it.
We're good.
I don't even care. I got 8 more weeks here, and I'm fucking in Costa Rica for the week.
One last thing on the Niners, real quick, for people saying, wait a second, they're still only a game back in a tight division. I would point you to their schedule. You think, okay, well, let's just dust yourself off. And let's see what's up next this Sunday, right? Well, it's a trip to Buffalo on the road. So you're at the Bills, and then it's Bears, Rams at home. Okay, gettable. At Miami, week 16, and that team is back surging with a healthy.
We'll see.
And then
we'll talk about them.
Here's the thing, though. They get the Lions in week 17, and the Lions are probably still playing for like top seed. And the Lions' message in that game is going to be, let's stick it to the team that came back on us in the NFC champion. Let's eye for an eye end their season if they're still breathing in week 17.
Do you think they start their starters if it comes to that? Like, if at the end of the year
they're going to have to. The Eagles are going to keep in pace with them up to that point.
Yeah, because it'll be second to last.
You're
week.
right, dude. That statement game that they're going to Dan Campbell's.
Well, it's also going to be a statement game of like, hey, anyone who's coming to play us in the playoffs, watch this.
Get fucking
right, like
ready.
you're gonna have to watch this film if you're preparing for us for the playoffs, right? This is our last at bat. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Bloodbath. Cannot wait.
So
all right,
new mic.
All right, Jay, you got one, or you want me?
I got one.
All right.
Are we willing to stamp that the NFC North is the best division in the NFL right now, top to bottom?
Not only is it that, it's the only time since the divisions realigned in 2002 that 3 teams going into Week 13 have 8 wins or more.
Yeah, dude.
It's nuts.
That's another one. This whole division is so fun to watch.
Wild,
I mean,
man.
listen, and we can talk about it now. The Vikings-Bears game was it was fun for me because the Bears all year have been like, where the fuck are they?
Yeah, Mackey wants to
right?
kill himself.
I know.
The Vikings
Hey,
the
listen,
Vikings
listen,
are up
listen.
by 11 with
I know.
25 seconds left.
But think about this. Compared to like week 3, how many times did you see a 9-man protection? Not once. Not fucking once. The minute you spread them out and you're like, hey, there's Cole Kmet. Hey, there's Keenan Allen. Hey, there's fucking Roma Dunze. Like, you're like, why the fuck haven't we been doing this all year? Like, dude, they took the Vikings deep into it. And I was like, holy shit.
Packers too the previous week.
He's excited. He gets excited. The team gets excited around him. All of a sudden, you're like, man, they're actually going to fucking pull this off. No, they're not.
The Bears, I will say, my biggest I mean, the Vikings have their own mojo, and the Vikings are very, very, very good, and we can talk about that. But I came away from the last 2 weeks post-firing of offensive coordinator Waldron, right?
Yep.
Thinking, okay, Caleb can play 100% if you just give him space
Options.
to be Caleb.
Yes.
Yep. And that team has talent, like everyone thought going into the year, and it just feels like they need a better match at head coach and just some different guys on the coaching staff that can put something together here.
I mean,
But,
dude,
yeah.
I'm so up and down, I know, but like you get rid of the OC and all of a sudden the offense looks different. And all of a sudden everybody's, and let's be honest, a like 65-yard pass interference call by the way, when he got called for that, we all knew it was clearly pass interference, right? Like we all knew it. This dude's fighting with the ref, like, no. He pushed me. And the ref's like, yeah, but then you pulled him down. He was like, no. What happened was he pushed me. And I was like, is he really fighting this shit right now? Like, what an idiot. The Vikings are really fun to watch, but the Bears are even more fun because they went through this terrible skid, and now all of a sudden they're coming out and they're like, let's just go opposite of what we've been doing. And it's starting to work a little bit. You put up 11 points in, a minute? Everybody was like, there's no way this is going to happen. Johnny Munt, get the fuck out of the way.
Get out of the way.
That's the only
ankle.
successful
Dude,
onside kick in the NFL this season. And they have those like win probability graphs.
Oh, yeah.
And the Vikings kicked the field goal to go up by 11 with like a minute 50 left. So you're under the 2-minute warning. The Bears have like 1 or 2 timeouts left maybe. And it says 99.9% chance to win by the time the comeback happened. And the Bears won the coin toss in overtime. So it was 63% Bears at one point, and then on the way back up.
It is a mess.
Sam Darnold, though, is a freaking, like, you want to talk about closer's mentality, flush your mistakes. He's kind of a cyborg. He does not remember the 5 picks he threw against Jacksonville, and he's just chunk the ball down the field, stand in there.
You know what I love
hits.
too was that he wasn't trying to force it to JJ. He was more like, where's Jordan Addison? Where's TJ Hawkinson? Where's Naylor? Like, where's every dude? By the way, did you see that touchdown to Naylor when 3 guys, like, they saw JJ? You see 3 guys like flow back,
moths to a flame, dude. Moths to a flame.
It was hilarious. But that, to me, that's where you're like, okay, Sam Darnold's making great progress. He's not like, hey, where's my number 1? He's like, hey, they're doubling the number 1 all day. Let's find everybody else. And if I can get it to JJ, I will. But you know who I thought had a fucking great day? Was Aaron Jones. I thought he was on
except
fire,
for that fumble on the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
But other than that,
he's gonna
was
fumble. I know it's gonna happen at some point. You have to just be like, it's gonna happen at some point. But the way he was running, getting down, getting through, I'm all about it. I love it. And I mean, it makes it fun for the North, right? Like, you don't want to turn a game on and watch one team just slaughter another team. Like when the Lions slaughtered the Jaguars, I had to turn it off. I was like, I can't watch this shit anymore. It's just on. But when you see a Bears team come back and Caleb Williams is getting excited, and all of a sudden Keenan Allen's making plays and Roma Dunze showing up late, which I always feel like they never get to him early. They always come to him in the second half, which drives me fucking nuts. But at some point, I'm like, this is fun to watch. This is what the NFL should be. This is what the North was all about. Competitive teams beating the fuck out of each other, having a blast, laughing about it, getting excited. It really does make it fun. And yes, the North in the NFC is by far the most competitive.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch down the stretch how this all plays out.
Because they all play each other, right? Like they're all coming back
they
around.
all still have to play each other one more time.
Welcome
I
to
mean,
the Thunderdome,
the Vikings are
bitch.
really one of the few teams that have been able to take the Lions to the deep water. And I mean, obviously they didn't come out with a W, but they dragged them down there and they fought all the way through.
They tried.
It's crazy for me to say this, but unless Cam Robinson is healthy, I worry about the Vikings. I worry about the left tackle situation. Like David Questenberry did fine.
He did good.
He did okay.
I thought he did good.
But that's not the guy you want out there down the stretch making a playoff run. You want a more proven guy that's looked at as a starter in this league, not as a backup, coming from a guy that was a backup and got benched for a guy that possibly was a starter and got upset about it. But from this side of it, you really I'm sensitive myself.
Boy.
My kid stole my bell. I don't have it.
Oh, I got double ding.
sensitive
That is
right there.
double ding. Unprepared.
Losing the bell and unprepared.
Didn't bring a pencil to the
bad.
meeting, did we?
Oh,
Damn.
no journal. But it's just going to be super fun to watch. I love watching the NFC North, the Packers, the Vikings, the Lions. Then the Bears are just going to keep being scrappy. Super fun to watch down the stretch.
Oh, absolutely.
Kevin O'Connell take real quick. If I would have told you guys and everyone who, I mean, like Vegas had the Vikings at 6 or 6.5 wins, and then JJ McCarthy goes down. And if I told you guys in August, hey, so it's going to be Sam Darnold, the version that we've known for the first 5 or 6 years here. You don't know how it happens, but the Vikings are going to be 9-2. Sam Darnold's going to have a 101 something passer rating. And the Vikings, it's not a fluke like 2 years ago where the Vikings actually, they won 13 games and got outscored on the season. It was all these weird games.
Yeah.
The Vikings have the 5th best point differential in the league, which shows you that, okay, like they're not just in these ridiculous, you have to come back at the end of every game.
Right. They can win decisively. They know how to put their foot on the gas at times and get it done.
And KOC is now 12-8 with Sam Darnold, Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, and Jaron Hall as his starting quarterbacks the last 20 games without Kirk Cousins. He's just like doing it to be 12-8 with Sam Darnold was a punchline like six months ago in the NFL.
Dude, I thought he was a punchline. He's going to
make $35 million next year from somebody.
I think that speaks more to KOC, and that's why I'm not as worried about the Quisenberry, because KOC's smart enough. He's smart enough to be like, hey, we got to get help here. We have to always chip here. We always have to get running back help. Like, that's why when you look at the beginning of the season, he did a great job of being like, Sam, here are your throws. Do this. Now, in the middle of the year, once we went to London, things got a little bit crazy, and all of a sudden it started going off the wire, and all of a sudden now he's back to being like, no. This is where we go. We do this. If he's not open, look to Jordan. If Jordan's not open, look to Hawk. If Hawk's not open, look to Aaron. Like, this is where we're going with our progression. And not only that, but when you can run the ball effectively, you set up the play action so much better. I agree. Dude, I was one of the first to be like, oh, it's going to be a lost cause. But now all of a sudden you're seeing them play competitive. And it's just because I underestimated KOC being able to say, hey, listen, I'm a calm dude. You're a calm dude now. We're not going to fucking throw this ball all over the place, right? We got playmakers out there. But if he's covered, don't force shit. Get shit over here. Let's have these long drives. Let's just stall out this team. Let's get these dudes gassed, and then we'll come back, and then we'll hit the fucking home run right out of the halftime. Like, he does the best job of like home run time. Like, I'm like, you just feel it. Like, you're like, hey man, we've been sitting in here for a little bit, and all of a sudden you see him step back and he throws it, and you're like, this is what I've been waiting for. All of a sudden Jordan Addison right across the middle comes right back. I'm like, god damn, it's fun to watch.
KOC also really good at post-game locker room speeches.
Oh, he's the man, dude.
He seems to get those guys all
he's probably
fired
loved
up.
by his
When's
team.
his contract extension coming? Because it's not going to be long.
It's weird that it hasn't happened. I mean, the price goes up every week.
Every
but
week,
he's going
the
into
price
the last
is getting
year of his
more.
contract.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Ian
I
Rappaport. Hey, highest paid coach in the league.
By far.
Yeah. Give me one more mic, and then we'll
right.
break for part 2.
We don't have to talk about the Chiefs today. I know Jay doesn't want to, and their lucky horseshoe that he pulled out of his ass, which was pretty fucking sweet. We're not going to do it. I want to talk about something else. I want to go to the South, the AFC South. What the fuck is going on in Houston? How do you get 9 sacks in a fucking game and you lose? You lose. You lose. Every third down was a fucking sack, and you still lost. I was like, wait a minute.
They even took one off the board for a PI.
That has to be
there was
the
like
most,
when they hit 8, they were like got a PI. I was like, oh my gosh, that was really like 9 sacks.
And you're gonna lose this game. What the fuck, dude? They're kind of a mess, and it's it's driving me nuts because I feel like a lot of it is the fact that Joe Mixon can't get going in the run game. Like they're just relying so much on CJ Stroud to get it to Nico Collins or Tank Dell. And like, we need to get these home run shots. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, what the fuck is going on the other side of the ball? How is Will Levis doing all this after getting obliterated the entire day? Like at one point, and I didn't think about this before the game, it was J.C. Latham versus Will Anderson Jr. And I was like, well, if I had played against the guy that I played in college, I would know all of his moves. This dude would never touch anybody because I'd be like, well, I'm just going to go deep into the archive. And two, your pride. Like your pride alone is like, I can't give up a motherfucker.
Not against my boy. Yeah.
Dog, did you see the way that Will Anderson just like right inside and JC was like, go to the guard. Oh shit, the guard's not there. I was like, oh my God, this is such an ugly performance. But they fucking won. And Tony Pollard showing up, running his fucking ass off, spinning out of shit. I mean,
sitting on my bench in fantasy.
What an idiot you are. God. I don't know. I'm
I'm
over Houston, by the way. I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. No, I'm done.
This is as deep into a sophomore slump as I've seen
a
quarterback go.
He's in it.
Because, I mean, beginning part of the game he goes, but it's the interceptions this year that are killing him. I mean, I think he only had 5 total interceptions last year. He's already up to
last night?
He's already up to 9. Right? He has 9 already into this year, but it's to your point, Booney, they can't run the football. No. And then when they do hit home run shots, it's a holding penalty, or it's Joe Mixon went in motion when he wasn't supposed to, or it's just the wheels are falling off of that offense. And I mean, D'Amico Ryans is an defensive guy sitting there going, we just got to get this shit going again.
Hey, that's what it was. You're right. It's the penalties. I mean, it was an illegal shift on the touchdown to win the game. And all of a sudden the flag goes up and I was like, no fucking way.
I saw it as soon as it happened. I go, both those guys just went in motion.
It was Joe Mixon and someone else. But at first I didn't see a flag get thrown. So I was like, are they going to let this go? And for a minute I go, I'll bet they'll let it go unless it's a touchdown. And as soon as he threw the touchdown, I saw the flag sign go up and I go, I fucking knew it. Yeah. But at the same time, like when you look at that game, at 1.2, they had 2 false starts in a row. And it's like, dude, shit like that can never fucking happen. We are professionals. If you don't know the fucking snap count once, that's fine. We got it. We all fuck shit up. But twice in a row, it's like, you guys really have fallen from grace. But my whole point is like, the defense is doing everything they can. I mean, 9 fucking sacks. I mean, I get that you didn't let them score less points than you, but when you have 9 sacks,
they had a pick 6 too,
dude.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody go get your 6 buffalo wings at Applebee's.
That's right.
Boneless buffalo wings,
right?
baby. Yep.
Does Dan
Jimmy
Campbell
Ward,
stand
former
at the
teammate
entrance
of mine.
every...
Jimmy Ward was an animal, by the way. I have some fucking crazy stories that I can't even tell you about on this podcast about him. He was an animal, and I love him. Dude will always throw his head into anything, like doesn't give a fuck. But Houston, I think I called them to be the AFC champions this year. I think I called them the Super Bowl. I was totally fucking wrong on that.
Let me check the stake.
I don't know if I put stake in a beer bet on it, but I remember last year I was willing to say that CJ Stroud was going to be the MVP this year. Right? I really thought that he was going to make that jump. I mean, the way that he played as a rookie, and then you go, oh man, they added Stephon Diggs and the whole bit there. But just to see his fall from glory and to see guys outshining him now it's going to be really interesting to see how he finishes this year and comes back into year 3, because he's the guy and he's got all the talent in the world.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not ready to write him off by any stretch of the imagination. He just did not take the jump that we all expected.
Well, too, and let's be honest, I'm going to put a little bit of blame on the O-line because I know how much really should fucking be on them. And I'm like, hey, you guys are really putting him under a lot of pressure at times. And at the same time, jumping off sides, doing stupid shit like... You're not adding.
Jarrett Patterson was a late round pick out of Notre Dame. He's their starting center. Juice Scruggs was a second round pick last year.
Laramie Tunsil.
And then Howard on the right side and Shaq Mason. I mean, it's this weird kind of hodgepodge of rookies and really solid veterans, which is why I don't really understand where the issues are coming from up front.
The steak and a beer board. I'm just looking back.
You guys owe me a lot of stakes, I feel like.
Dude, it's kind of a mess. So
hey, has my rookie Bo hit 3,000 yards yet? Can I please close in on that steak and a beer bet?
Jay has Bo Nix worse numbers than 2023 Russell Wilson.
I'm so excited.
I think that's already off the board.
That one's medium rare.
Old Macadac has the Jaguars winning the AFC South.
Well, that's a steak and a beer.
Alex has the Bears making the playoffs. Alex also had J.J. McCarthy starting week 1, although you didn't specify which year, so... Maybe it carries over.
And by the way, he would have been the week 1 starter. We all know he would have.
No, I'm saying him getting hurt was the best thing that could have happened to him.
When I see KOC, I'm going to ask him.
After last week, or 2 weeks ago when Sam Darnold throws the 3 interceptions against the Jaguars, what's everyone going to be screaming? Put the kid in. Put the kid in, right? Let's see what he's got. Him being able to sit this year is going to pay huge dividends for him down the road. I really do believe that.
Yeah, no, give your take.
He would have been the starter. What are you talking about? Put the kid in. The kid would have been starting
I
from
don't think
week
he would have been starting. I don't think he would have been
We'll
starting.
find out. We will find out.
Well, they're not
I'm
going to
gonna
pay
ask.
Sam Darnold. They're not going to pay Sam Darnold.
I know.
No, you're going to ask KOC,
I'm just going to fucking straight up ask
That's a
him.
fucking lying fine. Go ahead and ding him already. Get
Do you guys
Get
ever run
sensitive.
into each other
Can't
at
wait.
Kowalski's in Eden Prairie?
We run into each other at some of the
shoveling
randomest
pie
places.
into your mouth.
I haven't had a Kowalski's pie in a while. I've been told to lay off
This
carbs
would be the week.
for my knee. Swelling's
not this
getting
week.
better.
Not this week. It's Thanksgiving.
Thursday, I'm going crazy for sure.
Yeah. All right, that's a wrap. If you haven't already, by the way, maybe you're new to the O-line committee. Welcome in Jeremiah Sirles, Alex Boone, Phil Mackey. Click that subscribe button and the like button here. And if you give us a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple and Spotify, it helps us grow the show. Be on the lookout for part 2 in the form of dumb football questions. See you guys.